So welcome to our channel. Got a video today to help you to get the best, most efficient use out of your Combi Boiler. That's what we've got fitted in our house. We're going to talk about how we have adjusted the settings on it over the last couple of years to get the most efficient use from a Combi Boiler. And what we do basically, we've pretty much got our gas usage down as low as it will go through making these changes, making these settings changes. And of course, with the cost of gas as high as it is at the moment, I'm glad we have made these changes, and I'll show you what we've done and how we've achieved this. So first of all, a Combi Boiler. If you don't know already, a Combi Boiler, so it does away with the need for having a hot water tank. So if you've got a hot water tank in your house, you've got stored hot water somewhere else in your house, in a little cupboard that you probably call your airing cupboard, then this isn't the right video for you. If you've got stored hot water, then you need to be a little bit careful about Legionnaire's disease, and you have to have the hot water. It has to be a certain temperature for a certain length of time. I think it's about 50 degrees to be safe. So this video isn't for that. This is for a combination boiler. Basically, when I turn on my hot tap, the boiler heats the water as I'm using it, and as soon as I turn the hot tap off, it stops heating water for me. We don't use much hot water in our house, so it's the perfect system for us, and it also does our central heating. So let me show you the two settings that you can change on a Combi Boiler and talk about how they work within our house and how we can tweak them to get the best, most efficient use and save ourselves some money. Okay, so here's our Combi Boiler in our kitchen. It's in a cupboard. We've got a unit which we've got on wheels, moves out of the way, allows us to open the door. This is where our smart meters are, so we can take our meter readers and all those sorts of things. It's just one of those cupboards that many houses have got. Okay, so like I said, we don't have stored hot water, so we just have this one boiler. We don't have a tank anywhere, just this one boiler. Okay, so we can bring this flap down. Obviously we're just users, we're not installers, we're not allowed to open up the insides of the machine, but this is our usage bit that we can interfere with, and we can change some settings. So ours has got some instructions here, maybe yours will have a booklet, but we're only going to change two things here. We've got the temperature of the hot water that we can adjust, and the temperature of the radiators that we can adjust. So we're going to talk about the hot water first, and then we'll talk a bit about the radiators. So the hot water, so that's on the left hand side. You can see the tap symbols there. We can move it up and down, so there's the up, there's the down, simple enough. And you can see on the screen there, so that's 55, so that's relating to our radiators. We'll come to that in a second. If I just push the down button, that will take you to the hot water. You can see the little flashing tab there. So 45, we've got ours set at 45 degrees. So like I said before, if you've got stored hot water, then you're going to need to go above 45 degrees. This is just for people with Combi Boilers. We don't have to worry about Legionnaire's disease because we're only heating the water to use it straight away. We're not storing it at all, so it's a completely different system. So Legionnaire's disease is off the table, so we can just go to whatever temperature we find is useful. So 45 degrees, how do we arrive at that? Basically, we tapped it down and down and down. We've got down to a point, so the hottest we need our water is in our kitchen sink when we're washing up. So 45 degrees is about right for that. If we go any lower than that, then the hot water's not hot enough for us to wash the dishes, wash the plates. So 45 is where we've kept it. Obviously we could set it higher, that would be absolutely fine, but that would be wasting gas because we'd be expending gas to heat the water up to, let's say, 55 degrees, which would be too hot to put our hands into. So we'd then have to add some cold water to the washing up bowl, which is, you know, it's fine, easily done. But basically we're expending gas to take the hot water up to a higher temperature than we can possibly use, and then using cold water to bring it back down again, which is obviously wasting gas. I know on a previous video someone couldn't quite get their heads around that, but yeah, you don't need a degree in thermodynamics to understand it. It's just simply, you know, just heat the hot water up to whatever temperature you want it, and no higher, and then you're not wasting gas taking it higher than it needs to be. Okay, and obviously when we're running a bath or something like that, then we do still have to add a bit of cold water to the bath, which is fine. But the hottest we need our hot water is for the kitchen sink, for the washing up. So that's what we've used as our gauge. Okay, so 45 degrees for that. That's as low as we can take ours. Maybe you'll want yours a little bit hotter, and that will be completely up to you. You can adjust yours as you wish, of course. Just talking about what we do here. So let's go to the radiator side, and there we've got the up for the radiators, down for the radiators, and you can see that ours is set to 55 degrees, so I could take it down to 54, 53, go wherever I wanted with this, but we've arrived at 55. Okay, so I'll explain a little bit about why 55 in a moment, but that's how we can adjust it, and it's very simply done. So once you've got them set where you want them, you just close the door and then get on and use it. And if whilst using it you find you want them a little bit higher, a little bit lower, then it's easy enough to adjust them, isn't it? So play with it, and over the next few weeks you can get yours down to your lowest levels too. Okay then, so let's talk about that 55 degrees then for the central heating. So we can go as low as that because we've got an incredibly well insulated home, okay, which is brilliant. The first thing you should do, if you've only got like 100 quid to spend on energy efficiencies in your home, then you should spend 100 quid on insulation basically, whether that's insulating against drafts, draft excluders, those sorts of things. Loft insulation, very big thing, very important. Wall, if you've got cavity walls like us, you can get those filled with an insulation foam. We've had ours done, it made a big difference. So we've done all of those things. Our home is now as energy efficient as we can make it. We couldn't pack any insulation anywhere in our home. Okay, so that's good, so we've done that. So we can now run our radiators at 55 degrees. It basically means if we had our radiators run at 65 degrees, then they would just get hotter. Which would be great. It would heat the house up quicker for us, which would be great. But we're trying to save energy. We're trying to reduce our cost. So basically 55 degrees, we've arrived at that temperature there because when radiators and central heaters are now installed, the new standard is 55 degrees. Most boilers, like our one, are condensing boilers. Don't need to know the physics of how that works. Basically, the water, when it's been around your home, around the radiators, the cooler it goes back into the boiler, the more efficient it will be. So the more efficiently it will run, the less gas it will use to heat your home basically. So that's the return, the water, once it's been around your radiators and comes back to there. If it's dropped nicely in temperature down to a lower temperature, then you've improved your efficiency. So 55 degrees. If water starts returning back to our boiler at a higher level, above 55 degrees, then the condensing on it won't work as efficiently as it would do otherwise. So by adjusting our flow temperature down to 55, basically means that the water coming out of there is only at 55, so it's bound to be lower than 55 by the time it gets back to there, by the time it's been through our radiators and all that sort of stuff. Then it's going to be lower than 55 degrees. So that's brilliant, that's fine, we know it's operating nice and efficiently. And that's how we've arrived at that 55 degree number. So basically our home does take a little bit longer to warm up because we're warming it up more efficiently. So we've got a thermostat which we can set digitally. It's a timer one, so if we're on our way home from holiday, we can just go into an app and turn the central heating on when we're about an hour and a half away from home, and the temperature in the home will come up to a nice temperature. Those are all things you can do to make your system more usable. And it's a nice thermometer, for day-to-day use. We can just adjust it, and it just runs nice and efficiently for us. So basically, by having our flow rate down at 55, we're just taking longer to heat the home up. So that might not be suitable for you. If you've only got small radiators, or the pipes feeding your radiators are smaller, then 55 is going to be too low. It's going to take forever to warm your home up. By the time your home's warm enough to be comfortable in, you're going to have gone to bed, and that's not going to be right. You're going to have to run yours more like 65, maybe even 70 degrees. It's you're going to have to play around with it and find out what works for you. What works for us is 55. So that's great for us, but you're going to have to find out what works for you. And if you do run it at a higher temperature, then make sure that you're only running it for as long as you need to, because if water starts going around your radiators and back to the boiler, and it's coming back into the boiler above 55 degrees, then you're not using it as efficiently as you could be, basically. So I hope that's helped, and that's cleared up maybe some common misconceptions about flow rates and what temperatures you can set your central heating to. And drop a note in the comments if you want us to discuss anything different any other time, and we can do that. So in our description there's another link in there for reducing the cost of your gas and electricity. The electric I'm burning at the moment, I'm with a really good supplier. I know I've got 100% green electric coming into this home through the supplier. So that's a really good peace of mind thing, and it's the cheapest one on the market at the moment too. And there's loads of other benefits for being with this particular supplier. There's a link in the description. Check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. Tell me what you think. Okay, well thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.